Hello and welcome to LaRosa Reads. I'm Denise LaRosa, and today I'm going to share all the fantabulous books that I read in October. Let's talk books. October. What do I think of my reading month, known as October? I have mixed feelings. I was looking for just some out of the ballpark, fantastic, memorable reads. I had high expectations because last October was an incredible spooky reading month for me. This one didn't fare quite the same, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a good month. The first book that I read in October is titled Dances, a novel by Nicole Cuffey. This book was one that wasn't on my radar. Quite frankly, I walked into my local library and was perusing the new releases shelves and saw this book. I am a former dancer. It was a black dancer on the cover. It just looked really mysterious, intriguing, and so I was like, let's check this one out. This book has the protagonist, Cece, going through so many different things in her life. Dance is, of course, at the center. She is an aspiring ballerina who is one that sees ballet as a profession being a long shot for her. Her single mother is struggling to provide for Cece and her older brother, and they're really coming up on hard times, experiencing hard times, and having a difficult time making her dream of just attending a dance studio a reality. It's really a struggle for them. And her mom is not a believer in her dream, but that doesn't stop Cece from continuing her journey in dance. Her older brother believes in her. He is a visual artist, so he has an appreciation, respect, and love for Cece's dream of being a performing artist. And she also ends up struggling to keep that relationship between her and her brother tight and meaningful. They lose touch with each other, and that is something that haunts her. So despite all of her challenges, she manages to achieve her goal of becoming a professional ballerina, and in fact becomes the first Black principal ballerina of a professional dance company. And she also has a little romance with the lead male dancer that ends up being, it adds another layer to the story. Nonetheless, this book was everything I imagined it would be, and a little bit more. It was a 4-star read for me until towards the end, and I was blown away by the author's descriptions of the dances, her detailed descriptions of ballet, the art of ballet, even taking ballet class. It was so nostalgic for me. I highly recommend it for those of you who are dancers and fans of dance. If you are not immersed in the ballet world, I don't think it's a book that you would be able to fully appreciate. So I highly recommend it for those of you who love ballet. Dances was a winner. And then I decided to delve into a thriller mystery that definitely delivered for me. It is titled All Her Little Secrets, written by Wanda M. Morris. And oh my lordy, you guys, this book is about a Black female attorney who is working in a predominantly white law firm. It's more like a corporation, and there's like this hub of executives. She also happens to be having an affair with her boss, like one of the executives at this firm, and he is a white man, a married white man. So I'm not giving you a spoiler. This is in the synopsis. Whenever I tell you, this book takes off from the beginning. The action just is like actioning, okay? If that is a word, I don't think it is, but who cares? I just made it up. So Wanda has this standing appointment with her lover, boss, and she goes like an hour or two early to work to meet this appointment and finds him dead, like oofed in the oofiest, grossest way. And she doesn't say anything, and she makes her way to her office, and of course, people discover him and drama takes off from there. She also ends up getting hired to be his replacement and was a long shot, not even on people's radar. So they're like, what the what? People didn't know about the affair, or did they? And then there's the main character's brother. He has been someone who has been in trouble with the law. And our main character is really trying to hide her life prior to becoming an attorney. She grew up in the South to a single mother who was strung out and married this white man who was a former police officer, and he was horrible. And there are lots of secrets. Secrets abound in her childhood and her teenage years, and no one knows. No one that she works with, even her friends, don't know anything about this woman's personal life. But all those little secrets are about to come spilling out as this mystery, this murder mystery, is in the process of being solved. Her brother's in the mix. It's a page turner, you guys. Elise Littlejohn is our main character's name. And my, oh my, if you want a page turner, this is a book for you. All Her Little Secrets was everything I expected and more. And then there was Nocturne. Nocturne by LaRosa Reads. The cover is gorgeous. The synopsis is intriguing. There's even a character, the ballerina's patron, who shares my last name, LaRosa. This book has everything that I thought would make me fall in love with it, and then I read the book. And it all went downhill. So forgive me for not reading author blurbs because they just don't appeal to me. I don't care what other authors think about books. I want to form my own opinion, and the opinion of other book lovers means more to me than other authors. So if I had have read the synopsis, I would have known this was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm embarrassed because I read the synopsis here on LaRosa Reads, and I should have been able to figure that out. With that being said, this is set post-Depression in Chicago. We've got, it's set up in Chicago's Little Sicily. Our main character is an Italian young woman by the name of Grace. Her brother and her mother have just really struggled financially. She happened to walk by this dance studio with her brother one day and just was looking through the window and fell in love, but they could not afford for her to take ballet classes. She had never taken a class. And long story short, she makes her way into the studio. She is taken in by the ballet master, and she just becomes this fantabulous ballerina and ends up becoming the principal ballerina of the dance company. There's this mysterious patron who has claws and decides to take a special interest and investment in Grace, and then says, I will continue to give the ballet company money if you come live with me. Hence, Beauty and the Beast vibes, right? There's more to this, but I just have to tell you guys, it was entirely too wordy. This was like, even though this is not a very thick book, I mean, it's 228 pages, it was overwritten. Every scene started with like the longest preposition, like going on like, and on this windy day when the leaves were falling and the crisp wind blew and stars were in the sky, she went to dance class. And I'm like, girl, I hear you. It sounds beautiful. That was the thing that made me feel bad. Like, some of the prose was really beautiful, but it was too much. And so I lost interest. I found myself skimming and still being able to get the gist of the story. There was a lot of words there that weren't necessary in order for the story to move on. It kind of goes all over the place. I read it. I got through it. It was like a 2.75 star read for me. I do not recommend it. Like, even for ballet lovers, and going from dances with the such poignant descriptions of dance to this book, the dance was not dancing. Like, the descriptions were like really flat. Like, this character could have been doing another profession. Dance was not really at the forefront, and I was really disappointed by that. So, Nocturne, you got a gorgeous cover, but that's about all I can say. Then I checked out Furia from my school's library. And my goodness, this was one that I wasn't planning on. This was totally a mood read. I realized that my TBR lacked Hispanic representation. It was Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. And I was like, we got to do something about that. And there was a display celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, Hispanic authors, Hispanic stories. And so that is why I picked up Furia by Yamil Saeed Mendez. I absolutely fell in love with this story. I am not a football fan. I'm not really into soccer. I know nothing about it. But this book made me fall in love with soccer and fall in love with the story behind the struggles that female soccer players have in getting an opportunity to play and be respected and appreciated. So the story takes place in Argentina, and Camila is our main character, teenager who's growing up in a family who is deeply immersed in the soccer world, football. And her brother is playing professionally. This young guy in her neighborhood that she has always been crushing on and has been close friends with has like a career that has taken off in the soccer world. He's playing soccer in Italy, and she is secretly playing soccer unbeknownst to her parents because she has to keep it a secret since it's not something that is really embraced and accepted in her community for women, young women, to be playing soccer. So you've got this love story, you've got this dream and passion and this grit. I love Camila. She was so multi-layered as a character. You know, she was fragile and vulnerable. Her family, there's like some abuse and some drama going on within her family. She's got this love interest, but she's got a solid head on her shoulders, for a young woman. And it just added so much depth to the story because there was so much depth within her character. Interestingly enough, at the same time that I was reading this book, I was watching David Beckham's documentary, Beckham, on Netflix. So I was just like immersed in soccer, and watching that documentary while reading Furia at the same time was like something I highly recommend. It was just such a rich reading and viewing experience, and seeing two different perspectives on the same sport. It was amazing. I loved it. I highly recommend Furia. Another impulse read that I delved into in October is titled Dead and Gondola by Anne Claire. This was a book that I checked out of my library. Now, here's the funny thing. This is a book series. This book is a part of a series known as the Christie Bookshop. I had accidentally picked up book 2 from the Christie's Bookshop series, and it's titled Last Word to the Wise. When I went to pick it up, I was like, wait a minute, isn't this a part of a series? And I do not like to read series out of order. So I put that book away and grabbed Dead and Gondola. So you've got these sisters, this family bookstore in Colorado that's so quaint, so adorable, and just fantastical. And this family, their last name is Christie. They are huge fans of Agatha Christie, but have no relation to her. So these sisters have this bookstore with their grandmother, their parents who are the bookstore owners looking to hand over the bookstore to their daughters. They're away somewhere on vacation. In the meantime, this mysterious man comes to the bookstore in the middle of a book club meeting. He comes in, he goes away. He leaves behind some items, and the ladies are trying to track him down to give him his stuff. So they get on a gondola. They see him running to get into a gondola, and then he dies in the gondola. Who killed this man? First of all, who was this man? Who killed him? Why did they kill him? And it's almost like a dinner theater vibe, like it was really light reading. It wasn't gruesome. It was just like a murder mystery, dinner theater, fun kind of experience, and I loved it. The characters were fun. They were funny. Would I say there was depth to this? No, but that's not what I was looking for. I highly recommend this Christie Bookshop series. I know I'm going to stick around with it, so check out Dead and Gondola. I cannot pick up this book and not sing a Britney Spears song. Woo! Britney, the woman in me, spilled the tea. Okay. Britney Spears. We're the same age. I remember being in high school, and I was an aspiring dancer. And Britney's video, Hit Me Baby One More Time, came out, and I was dazzled by this dazzling teen. I thought she was a brilliantly talented young woman, and she was a pop sensation. I wasn't looking for depth. I wasn't looking for a Whitney Houston voice. I was looking for exactly what Britney delivered, what she gave us. Now, I also have witnessed Britney's life unfold in the media, and I have a lot of feelings about it. She's not someone I think about often, but I think the media did her dirty, like they have done a lot of superstars. You know, American media loves to build these superstars up, and then they love to tear them down to pieces. Britney, her voice is in this book. I'm not going to lie. I assumed that she was going to have a ghostwriter. Like, we see her Instagram. She doesn't seem to be in the greatest space health-wise, mental health, emotional health-wise, and understandably so. Not faulting her for that. I was so pleasantly surprised that Britney's voice is very, very ever present in this memoir. It's very short, and she gets straight to the point. This isn't going to be one of those profound, verbose memoirs. This is an authentic and raw one. She gives us answers to a lot of things that we were wondering at the time, and she gives us some shockers of what she was experiencing behind the scenes, behind the camera. And it makes you think, wow, at a time when so many young women and girls wanted to be Britney Spears, if we knew what Brit was going through, we would not have wanted to be Britney Spears. Britney Spears didn't want to be Britney Spears. You get angry. You feel all the feelings towards her as far as like deep, profound sadness and hope for her to have a better future, better than what her past has given her. And she embodies this whole idea of famous people. Money doesn't buy you happiness. And money can bring out the nastiest energy from family. And my goodness, there are a lot of monsters in Britney's life. Justin Timberlake, there's not enough time on this video for me to get into that. I already had, I was a fan of his, and I was one of those people who was duped and thought, poor JT, she broke his heart. I wasn't mad at her for it, but I was like, oh my goodness. You guys already know. I'm not going to go into all the details because the media has already told you everything. BookTube, Bookstagram, all the books, social media is telling you everything. What I will say is that you don't have to be a huge Britney Spears fan to appreciate this book. I think if you were, young and into pop culture in the 1990s and early 2000s, this book is going to be nostalgic. And it's also a book that helps you embody and practice empathy and understanding. So The Woman in Me, my goodness, it's turning out to be one of my favorite nonfiction reads of the year. Speaking of the late 90s, early 2000s, energy, vibes, time, the Chicks, which were known as the Dixie Chicks back then, were one of my favorite groups. I absolutely loved them. One of my favorite songs of theirs was their pop crossover hit, Goodbye Earl. And Lisa Cross Smith, we've got one of my favorite authors, taking a fun spin, artistic expression of the song, Goodbye Earl. It was a time to be had, you guys. Lisa Cross Smith is my author of the year. I want to read her entire backlist. This was her new release that came out over the summer. She delivered. Now, she is also known to be the author of my other favorite that I have swooned over on LaRosa Reads, Half Blown Rose. Get ready for this. I actually love Goodbye Earl even more than I love Half Blown Rose. This is complicated. There's dual timelines, okay? There's 2004, this group of teenage girls, seniors, who have been lifelong childhood friends, growing up in the small town of Goldie, and they're graduating in 2004, and a big event happens for one of those teenage girls in the friend group. Fast forward 15 years to 2019, and that girl who had this big event happen is back in Goldie for the first time since her senior year, and she's there for a wedding. So we're traveling in 2004 where the friendships are just being fleshed out in this book. You grow so close to each individual young woman that makes up this friendship group. You fall in love with the group. You fall in love with the side characters, the parents, the family members of these teenage girls. And then we have that other timeline of 2019, and it takes off into a direction that I wasn't expecting. It's a thick book. I was reading about it and I'm so flippin' frustrated because on Goodreads, Lisa Cross Smith just can't get over like 3.5 stars. And I'm like, how is this book not an average of 4 stars? People felt like it was dragging. Some people DNF'd it. It's a lot, but you need to stick around. If you're into character-driven books, this book is going to deliver. And also, quite frankly, I felt like the storyline was moving along. But if you're not invested in the characters, I could see why you didn't stick around. But I highly encourage that you all check this book out. If you love stories that take place in a small town, if you love little murder mystery, if you love character-driven books, if you love, a good teenage time of nostalgia of the 90s and early 2000s, this book is for you. Please, please, please check out Lisa Cross Smith's Goodbye Earl. So there you have it, my love bugs. Those were the books that I read in October. What books did you read in October? Let me know in the comment section. And also, if you're curious about what I'm up to this month, check out my November TBR video. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.